Good morning, I'm Brother Jason. This is the Baptist Catechism. Question 90 asks us, are all transgressions of the law equally heinous? It's another way of saying, is all sin the same? Does all sin carry the same punishment? Is all sin equal? The answer, some sins in themselves and by reason of several aggravations are more heinous in the sight of God than others. A lie is never going to be the same as murder. So we have to understand that there are some sins that are worse than other sins. And even in the sight of God, although sin is sin, some sins are worse. But let's take a look at what the Bible has to say. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 13 will tell us. And he said to me, Son of man, do you see what the elders of the house of Israel are committing in the dark, each man in the room of his carved image? For they say, the Lord does not see us, the Lord has forsaken the land. And he said to me, yet you will still see greater abominations which they are committing. Idolatry in secret was pretty bad. But the Lord told Ezekiel that he's going to see even worse. He's going to see worse sins than that. He saw a lot of sins. He'll see greater abominations than that, where women weeping for Tammuz, the queen of heaven. And Ezekiel was told, you're going to see sins worse than this. So even as God was speaking with Ezekiel, he told him, look, there are worse and worse and worse sins. That's just the way that is. John chapter 19, verse 10, Pilate and Jesus are talking. Jesus gave Pilate no answer, and Pilate said to him, you do not speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you and I have authority to crucify you? And Jesus answered, you would have no authority over me unless it had been given you from above. For this reason, he who delivered me to you has the greater sin. As a result of that, Pilate made it more efforts to try to release him. He understood this isn't just your normal guy. Pilate was the governor. He was the leader. He was the man responsible for the whole area. Jesus wouldn't give him an answer on why they wanted to crucify him. And Jesus pointed out to him, look, you would have no authority over me unless it was given to you from above. The persons who delivered you to me are guilty of a greater sin. Yes, did Pontius Pilate crucify Jesus? He did. Who wanted him to? Well, the Jewish leaders wanted him to. The Sanhedrin, the Pharisees and Sadducees were jealous. They didn't like Jesus. Ananias and Caiaphas didn't want Jesus around. They were guilty of a greater sin. They were guilty of that greater sin. 1 John chapter 5, verse 16. If anyone sees his brother committing a sin not leading to death, he shall ask, and God will for him give life to those who commit sin not leading to death. There is a sin leading to death. I do not say he should make request for this. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not leading to death. In 1 John is telling us there are some sins that will lead to your death. All unrighteousness is sin. There are some sins that lead to death. Even in our own legal system, there are some laws, some things that are worse than others. Some are a misdemeanor, some are a felony. Some will get you the death sentence. Some will just get you time in prison or jail. We understand that there are some things that are worse than others. And we can make a long list of that. So this is not a new concept. Even in the scripture, it's found that some sins are worse than others. Are all transgressions of the law equally heinous? Some sins in themselves and by reason of several aggravations are more heinous in the sight of God than others.